Hi there, Lisa Hansen. So this video, we're going to talk about cost of attendance. And cost of attendance is part of our formula used to determine financial need. So the two things we need to know to calculate financial need is what is the cost of attendance, and then we subtract the family contribution and come up with financial aid eligibility. So if you think about it, cost of attendance will vary based on the college the student decides to attend. The family contribution is calculated when you complete your free application for federal student aid. And the difference is financial aid eligibility, or how much you can receive. We also call that financial need. So what's in the cost of attendance? Cost of attendance includes tuition and fees, an allowance for room and board, books and supplies, transportation, and personal or miscellaneous cost. And then we add that all up to get the total cost of attendance. So if you wanted to find cost of attendance, you would go on the college website and you could search for either cost of attendance, sometimes it's called student budget. And when you see that, remember that's kind of like the sticker price of the college. The other thing you may want to look for on the college websites is the net price calculator. And it's kind of a neat feature. And what it does is it will give you the average amount that people, based on your income and your grades and financial circumstances, will pay. And it's after grants and scholarships have been applied to your account. So that's why we call it the net price. So when you do the net price calculator, you do need to enter some information. And so I found you could do it as a guest, but they may ask you for your name and some contact information. And then you're going to put in your family's income, household size, number in college. They may ask you to enter some test scores or some grades. And then it will come up and give you what that net price is. And I have some examples to show you. Now remember, when you look at net price, this is an annual amount that you're looking at. So let me go through actually just some college costs. I'm going to start with the community college. So, and these are averages. I used easy numbers for the math. So tuition and fees around $5,000. That's what you would pay in direct cost to the community college. And that's for 1 year. Now, when the college is building your budget, we get to include an allowance for living expenses. And this may seem kind of odd because most of the time you continue to live at home with your parents, and so there's no real change in the living cost allowance. But then we also get to include an allowance for book supplies and miscellaneous. So the total budget is $14,700, and that's what we're going to use to calculate eligibility for financial aid. At a four-year college, so this would be like Illinois State, University of Illinois Springfield, Western, I gave average tuition and fees for a year of $14,000, an allowance for room and board of $10,000, so direct cost of $24,000. This is going to vary. And then those book supplies and personal expenses are lumped together for $3,000, so total student budget, $27,000. Now, if you want to look at a four-year private institution, this would be like Knox College, Augustana, Bradley, there's lots of them. The tuition and fees are going to be closer to $50,000 for 1 year. Room and board, $10,000, direct cost of $60,000. And then we have an allowance for book supplies and personal expenses of $2,000. So the total student budget is $62,000. Now, keep in mind that your private colleges have been fundraising for years because they know not everyone can afford their sticker price. And so you'll see that when we look at that net price calculator. So next, I'm giving you some examples of the cost of attendance versus net price. So cost of attendance, remember, it's just what they're starting with. And when I looked up this college, I noticed that they put in their cost on a per semester basis. So you do need to read these screens closely so that you're able to compare apples to apples. And then there was a breakdown of what's included in that cost there. On the right-hand side, now this is the same college, we have the net price calculator. And so for a full year, they're saying $24,000. And then they give you the breakdown. Now, because I put in some grades and some income information, it came in and gave me 2 scholarships. So they're saying I would get grants and scholarships of $6,000. And then you drop down and you see the estimated net price. And so they're looking at $18,000. And then below that, they show you how you can meet that net price. And so here's where student loans come in. You would have the option for a parent loan. Maybe you can pay that out of your savings or even your annual income. So whatever you need to do to come up within that additional cost, the net cost, the price that you're going to pay. Now, the next screen gives you some examples, and this is based on private colleges. And these are actually two different colleges, but there were some good things to show on each. So the cost of attendance on the left. Now, this time, they did not include those extra expenses. So really what we're seeing here is the direct cost. And then when I read that paragraph below, it gives me the example of what those other costs will be. On the right-hand side, we have a net price calculator. So we have that cost of attendance. Now you'll see here the estimated grants and scholarships are a lot higher. And again, it's because those private colleges have been fundraising for years. So we have the net price at $22,000 for 1 year. And then below that, we have how they will help you meet that. So you've got a work option here that typically does not apply toward the bill, just be aware of that. And then we have student loan options. So that's the federal direct, subsidized and unsubsidized, and then a parent loan. Now, again, you know, community college, $5,000 out of pocket, there is some savings there. So when you compare those college costs, I just kind of lined everything up on a chart here. And so we have the cost of attendance, which is what we're going to use to calculate the eligibility for financial aid. The direct cost is what you would pay out of pocket. And then I put a family contribution in here of $7,000. I mean, that can be anywhere from $0 up to over $100,000. And that's what we're going to use then to determine financial need. And so at the community college, the student could qualify for $7,700 in financial aid. At the public 4-year, $20,000. At the private, $55,000 in financial aid. Now, the other thing you have to ask is how much of that is loan and how much of it is money that you or the student may have to pay back. So this is how we determine the college cost and how you would find that information. And I think probably the biggest thing is that you have to then decide, or remember, number one, that is for 1 year. So what is the 4-year cost? And ultimately, we want you to be able to attend the college that fits you both financially and personally.